to note on a haunted historical tour is that, well, we don't have jump scares. Things happen. And one of the things that has happened on a number of tours, and just times when people have been on the ground, is in that upper right-hand window, people have seen a woman just looking out and watching them. We had someone see it only 3 tours ago, and they were very surprised.
The top.
I know, but they were like, and sometimes people are taking photos, and so the photos will lighten it up. But they had a lady show up. So again, keep your eyes and ears peeled because we may have extra visitors on the tour. So let's head down towards the Kellogg.
Is that the very top window?
Not the attic one, but the one below, like the second
Okay.
story. So this is how you know I do a lot of tours, because I'm walking backwards in full Victorian costuming. How many of you have been to the Kellogg before? Oh my gosh. Only Alex. Fantastic. Welcome to the Kellogg, y'all. We do a lot of incredible events here for the community. In fact, this past Friday night, we had a big community altar for Dia de los Muertos, where the community could contribute photos of their loved ones who passed and add them to the altar. At Easter, we do a huge Easter egg hunt. That is free to the community, where we hide between, some years it's been 5,000, some years it's been 8,000 eggs on the grounds. And again, open to all ages, and then we let the children go by age group, which is nice, so that they're not battling each other. Yeah, right? We have weddings here, we have spooky events here. We just love to have events here at the Kellogg, and we're going to talk about different aspects of the Kellogg this evening. Right? They're plastic ones. Luckily, not hard, but oh my gosh. For those of us who grew up in the days pre-plastic egg, your parents would hide that one egg, and then you never found it, and then like a week later, you're like, I think I know where the egg is now. I think I know where the egg is now. So here, everyone, is the beautiful and astounding Kellogg house. This beautiful house, we will be spending most of our time in here tonight. She was built in 1898 by Hiram Clay Kellogg, who was the first civil engineer in all of Santa Ana. He also was the deputy county surveyor for Los Angeles County for a while, and then eventually became the deputy county surveyor for Orange County. And he's very tied into our local history. We're going to learn a lot about him tonight. And if you're wondering to yourself, is this Kellogg of cereal fame? It is not. That is the house in Pomona, and that is a whole nother set of stories with that Kellogg. This is Kellogg of gardening fame. So if I have any gardeners that know that striped bag with the little king on it, that is this Kellogg family, and they're still involved with the house today. So Hiram built this beautiful house as a wedding gift to his second wife, Helen Kellogg. And if you're wondering, well, what happened to the first wife? We're going to talk about that tonight as well. What an incredible wedding gift, right? Stunning. Now, for my KFI listeners, you heard my brother very much talk about how this is not a neoclassical house. This is a Queen Anne Victorian with neoclassical design elements. And I trust my brother on that because my brother knows. And one of the reasons that we know that it is Queen Anne is because it is not symmetrical like a neoclassical house would be. And we can see that there's kind of like a turret on the side. This beautiful house was not originally here. In fact, I got the question of where it originally was. And it originally was just up the street in Santa Ana at the corner of Walnut and Orange at 122 Orange, which is a space that is now a parking lot. I was just there the other day. And so the house was moved in the 1980s when the school district bought this land. So she's not too far from her original home here in Santa Ana. Some things I want to point out to you all is if you can see, I know it's a little rough because of the darkness, but on the left-hand side, you can see almost what looks like a telescope or maybe a weather vane up there, which should usually be a weather vane. And what it actually is a transit. And what a transit is the surveying tool for engineers to be able to survey the land. And that is how Hiram advertised to the rest of the neighborhood that this is where the engineer lives. So they would see that and they know that this was his house. Now, coming in from there and behind the attic window, which you cannot see right now, is a widow's walk, which is very common on Queen and Victorians. And it didn't get its name for pleasant purposes. It is known as a widow's walk because oftentimes houses of this design would be near harbors where those who were out at sea, their loved ones would go up to see if they had returned safely from sea. And again, it's not called a widow's walk because they did all the time. But what we're gonna learn tonight is that it's just one of the many homages that Hiram gives to sailing and the seas, because Hiram loved sailing in ships. Like, you're gonna see how much Hiram loves sailing in ships. Like, there's a lot of Hiram in this house. Now, when we go into the front parlor and into the house in general, you'll see our green front door that will go in. But on the left-hand side, there is another green door that I want you to all keep an eye on because we'll talk about that in a bit. And we're gonna walk up on that beautiful wraparound porch. But it is not the original porch. The original porch was taken out when the house got moved because what was under the original porch was a basement. And these lands here also house our Gospel Swamp and our Gospel Swamp Farm in the back. What you cannot build into swampland is basements. It doesn't work really well. So we had to get rid of the basement and we redid the porch, but you're gonna see a portion of the original porch tonight. And if you're like, am I gonna be excited to see a piece of original porch? You will, because Hiram's design element in it is so cool. It's really, really amazing. But again, stunning house, beautiful house. So let's talk about the ghost stories and why did we stop at the fountain and why are we not inside? Well, this fountain here, this lovely water feature, as they would call it, needed a little bit of work in the 1990s. And so we had a crew here at about dusk working on the fountain. They were the only ones on the ground. And as they were working, where y'all parked at the school next door, their nighttime custodian and nighttime security were coming on. And as they came on, they yelled over to their crew, hey, who's that woman in the window? And the crew looks up to the upper right-hand window, and sure enough, they see a woman in the window. They also decided they were done with work for the day. I think I would have decided the same thing. And who we think that might have been is Helen Kellogg. And Helen would have been standing in what we refer to as the children's room. And if you're wondering, are we gonna go into the children's room? Yeah, we are. It'd be weird if we went on a haunted tour and I didn't take you inside the spooky places. Now,
did the original house have a fountain?
It did not. This is an add-on that we have for beauty. Now from that upper right-hand window, over here to the left-hand window, as I mentioned, we have a lot of weddings here. What a beautiful place to get married. If you walked around the grounds, you saw our gazebo area with the beautiful lawn, right? Have a beautiful ceremony there. We've got an incredible dance floor back out there. You take your pictures with your family in front of the house, in the house, on the house. It's a stunning place to take photos. I totally get it. But a few of our couples have let us know that they had a wedding crasher in the form of a little girl who shows up on that second-story balcony. And she showed up in their photos. Now, of course, I asked, please tell me we have those photos. No. The couples were so freaked out, they got rid of the photos. Exactly, right? I know. So we don't have those photos. But here's the deal I'll make with all of you. If any of you have a friend or family member that gets married here, and a ghost child shows up in their photos and I can get a copy of that for the tour, I'll let you and the entire wedding party come back for free, right? Now from something we don't have a photo of to something we do have a photo of, and that's why I have the iPad. So, as I said, we have a lot of spooky events here. We love Halloween here. Now, a couple years ago, we were having an event at night, and in this fountain, if you can't tell, this is a planter right here. So we had one of our staff standing in the planter, dressed as a skeleton, in like a white dress with skeleton makeup. you'll see them in the photo. But when our staff photographer came by, somebody else also showed up in the photo. This picture has not been doctored other than the blue circle that I put around where I want you to see. So I'm going to come around and show it to y'all now.
Oh.
Right? Bubby's like, don't know about that. Right? No one's like, I don't know. No, Anna Lee. Yes. Let me come around here. Try to get in your picture. So again, we're not sure who that was, right? But they showed up. And again, clearly our staff member didn't know, because they probably wouldn't have stood there so calm, right? I would have been like, what? But the thing is, this is indigenous land. So it's quite possible that it's an indigenous spirit or someone else that showed up in that photo. Now, a point about this photo is that, again, as I mentioned, this is not doctored other than that blue circle, so you can identify it. That brings me to the house. As I mentioned, this is not a rigged house. This is not a haunted attraction. We don't have jump scares. I don't do well with jump scares, y'all. If I was leading a jump scare tour, I'd be like, okay, everyone, we're gonna go into this room. It's gonna be fine. I would not be good. I would give it all away. And so none of this stuff is rigged in the house. But things happen. We're gonna talk about some of the things that happen, and sometimes things happen on tours. So if they happen on tours, just be aware. We'll all be in it together, okay? Couple things as we go into the house, all right? Number one, we're gonna head up that first set of stairs. Be aware there's a tiny sub-stair, okay? Because I would totally trip on a tiny sub-stair, and I wanna make sure everyone is okay with that tiny sub-stair. Then we're gonna go up to the second set of stairs. We'll go in and we're gonna go into the right to the front parlor, okay? Over to the right. Make sure your shoes are tied and you're feeling comfortable in that. Our museum is a hands-on learning museum for children. However, we ask that you respect the signs that say do not touch, do not sit, because about 90% of the stuff inside the house is antique. So we want to make sure that it stays in good condition. I do not mind if folks take photos or short videos. Please don't go on live. Please don't record the majority of my tour, because of the fact that folks paid to be here and I want other people to pay to be here. It's really, really important because, again, it's your experience and I don't want other people having that experience if they're not here. If any of you have paranormal investigation equipment, again, this is a haunted historical tour. So if you're running a little spirit box or something, that's fine. I just can't have it make noise. I can't have it interrupt me, and I can't have it interrupt the people next to you, because people want to be able to hear what I'm saying. I know I'm loud, but I want to make sure everyone can hear what I'm saying. And I just hope that everyone can keep side chatter down to a minimum.